The elevator dinged. A crowd of sharply dressed employees stood waiting in the gleaming lobby of Silvercorp Tower, coffee cups in hand, eyes glued to their phones. As the doors slid open, a musty odor wafted into the space, followed by the slow shuffle of worn-out shoes. George, the elderly janitor, stepped in, his faded coveralls stained from years of service and a mop bucket trailing behind him. People recoiled subtly. A woman in a red pencil skirt covered her nose. A few young interns stifled laughs, whispering behind their hands. One even murmured, "How does he still work here?" Everyone avoided eye contact, except one. Lila, a 23-year-old temp assistant with scuffed shoes and second-hand clothes, stepped into the elevator beside George. She smiled gently and said, "Good morning, sir." George looked up, startled, then returned a soft smile. "Morning, young lady." In the corner of the elevator, unseen behind mirrored panels, a pair of eyes watched. Dressed casually in jeans and a hoodie, Ethan Kane, the reclusive CEO of Silvercorp, observed the scene in silence. No one recognized him, just how he preferred it. As the elevator rose, Lila struck up a conversation. "How long have you worked here, Mr. George?" "Just George," he chuckled. "Been here 32 years. That's amazing. You must know every corner of this place." George's eyes sparkled. "I've seen it grow from 5 floors to 50. Watched interns become executives. Even helped someone propose in the break room once." The elevator dinged at floor 32. Most people stepped off, but Lila stayed, riding higher. "Why didn't you leave for something better?" she asked. "Better?" George smiled wistfully. "This job paid for my son's college. Kept food on the table when my wife got sick. It may not smell like roses, but it's honest." Ethan's heart clenched. The next morning, George shuffled in again, but something was different. A small bouquet rested on his janitor cart. A note read, "For 32 years of quiet heroism. A friend." He looked around, confused but touched. Meanwhile, upstairs, Lila was called to HR. She panicked, thinking she'd messed up. Instead, she was offered a full-time position. "Someone very high up recommended you," the manager said with a smile. Days passed. Then weeks. Every morning, Lila greeted George. Sometimes, she brought him a muffin. He began to wait for her in the lobby, just to ride the elevator together. It became their little ritual. One rainy afternoon, an all-hands meeting was called. Employees packed the grand conference hall, buzzing with curiosity. Ethan Kane took the stage, now unmistakable in his suit and commanding presence. "I want to share a story," he began. "About a man named George." Gasps echoed through the hall. "Many of you pass him every day. Most look away. But George has given more to this company than many of us ever will. He taught me, without a word, what it means to serve with humility." He paused, letting it sink in. "And then there's Lila." Lila shrank in her seat, eyes wide. "She reminded me that kindness isn't loud, but it echoes. She didn't know who I was. She didn't need to. She simply did the right thing." The room fell silent. That day, George was awarded a lifetime service honor. But something even more surprising happened. Ethan invited Lila to lunch. Not in the cafeteria. In the executive dining suite. He wanted to know her story. She told him about growing up poor, about her dreams of helping people through non-profits, and how this temp job was just a stepping stone. Ethan listened, really listened. Weeks later, Lila received an offer, Chief Outreach Coordinator. She would lead a new philanthropic division Ethan was building. George beamed at her promotion. "Knew you were special, kid." Months turned into a year. Silvercorp launched initiatives for veterans, single mothers, and underprivileged youth, all led by Lila. And every ribbon cutting, every press event, George stood quietly in the background, proudly watching. Ethan and Lila grew close, not in a fairy tale whirlwind, but a steady, respectful bond built on shared values. She challenged him, inspired him. He loved that about her. One evening, as they rode the elevator down together after a long day, Ethan smiled. "You know," he said, "you changed my company, my life, and my heart, in an elevator." Lila laughed. "I didn't do much. Just didn't look away." He took her hand. And somewhere, below them, George hummed as he mopped the floor, a quiet smile on his face. Because sometimes, the smallest acts ripple the farthest. And in a world quick to judge, one girl's kindness lifted an empire, and found love along the way. Not bad for a morning elevator ride. Here's your emotional and inspiring short story, titled "Everyone Laughed at Smelly Elderly Janitor in Elevator Except a Poor Girl, Unaware CEO Saw Her and Love." Crafted to resonate deeply with a wide audience. Let me know if you'd like an audio version or script formatting for narration.